Next on Worcester News Tonight, sunny skies in New England in December, how people are taking advantage of the unseasonably warm weather. And the investigation at Hope Cemetery moves forward, what police are focusing on as they search for suspects. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. Well, the winter season officially starts a week from Monday, but you wouldn't know it just by looking outside here in central Massachusetts. In Worcester, no snow on the ground yet, and after a warm November, the high temperatures continue for the area. If you're dreaming of a white Christmas, you may be disappointed. Today in Worcester, the sun was out, making it a great day for golf.
We played
12.
Well, yeah, 12.
And they weren't alone.
I'd say you probably had maybe close to 100 people out there today.
You weren't playing golf this time last year, I'm guessing.
Not outdoors.
A year ago, residents were dealing with snow, ice, and cold temperatures. Today, it was 55 degrees in Worcester.
We had that storm just before Thanksgiving and we were closed in for the winter. So we've got almost a month of extra golf, which is good.
While the sun is great for golfers, skiers are patiently waiting to hit the slopes.
People live in New England, they're going to be, they know snow's going to come. New England, wait 5 minutes, the weather will change.
Even as night falls, people were out and about at the park hoping the warm weather continues. A time of year when some head south to escape the cold, but the cold hasn't made it here just yet.
It's phenomenal. The weather was cooperating.
And we'll have much more on how the weekend is going to look later with the full forecast. Turning now to Hope Cemetery, where detectives and cemetery workers are checking all mausoleums in the city after discovering earlier this week that a second mausoleum was broken into. Our Olivia Lemon has been following this story for us all week and brings us the latest details on the investigation.
After a second mausoleum was broken into at Hope Cemetery, Worcester police are urging surrounding communities to check their cemeteries.
Not just to look, but actually physically go in and look and make sure that there's been no breach of their security as well.
And pass that on to the DPW workers to just keep an eye out just for things that maybe look out of the ordinary that they weren't, may not have noticed before.
In Webster, police say they routinely patrol, but will keep a heightened eye out for anything that looks out of place.
We're also reaching out to some of the churches that oversee some of the cemeteries as well.
Lieutenant Michael Shaw says the town has not had any reported disturbances. He says the cemeteries in Webster are much smaller than Hope and do not have many mausoleums.
They're all underground, so I mean, to do something on that extent like they did in Hope Cemetery would take a tremendous amount of effort, and hopefully somebody would see something and say something.
Worcester police are investigating the second break-in where 3 bodies were taken from a mausoleum. Amador Medina was arrested in connection to the first break-in where 5 bodies were taken.
We do not believe this was one individual act. We do believe that there was others involved, and we're trying to identify those as well.
Police say they believe the people involved cut the locks in May and then waited until September to remove the remains.
There is certainly like an organized cult out there that are actively looking for human remains.
You really don't hear that much about it, so to hear about that happening, and maybe in more than one place is really kind of disturbing.
Olivia Lemon, Worcester News Tonight.
More than 30 homes were without water this morning after a water main break on June Street. The Department of Public Works was on scene repairing the break by isolating a section of the water main. The city says the main dates back to the 1920s. The city warns residents that even after service is restored, they may experience rusty or colored water. A Leominster man charged in a road rage incident is ordered held without bail. Ryan Kobus is accused of beating a 71-year-old man during an incident in Barry in September. Kobus was in Worcester Superior Court for a dangerousness hearing last week. Today, a judge ruled the 25-year-old be held without bail for as long as 4 months. Kobus has said the 71-year-old actually threw the first punch and he was acting in self-defense. He's due back in court January 8th. 9 years of hard work completed today, and the finished product can be seen from quite a distance in the city. The Worcester Recovery Center and Hospital Clock Tower was dedicated today. The ceremony was led by Preservation Worcester. The clock tower was originally built in the 1870s and was part of the Worcester State Hospital campus A fire in the early 90s destroyed most of the original hospital, but Preservation Worcester has been fighting to restore the clock tower. They say it's a great way to mesh the past with the present.
It's a building, you lose all the memories with it. It's a visible reminder. It's also so visible on the landscape. I think people in the city, when they're returning from a visit or something, they see it on the skyline, and it's going to be illuminated now, so it will be even better.
The original Worcester Hospital was the first mental health institution of its kind in the state. A local racing legend who built a business here in central Massachusetts has died. Ron Bouchard passed away early Thursday morning. The 67-year-old had been battling cancer. Bouchard won the Talladega 500 in 1981. The Fitchburg native owned several auto dealerships. A statement on Ron Bouchard Auto's Facebook page says the family appreciates the outpouring of prayers and support they are receiving. One of those messages came from NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Jr. Located in the heart of downtown, the Salvation Army Worcester Citadel's mission is to serve those in need. And even during their busiest time of the season, our Patricia Nicholas got a glimpse of them in action during a tour of their facility.
The Salvation Army on Main Street has been in the city since 1889. Captain Daniel Burnell says they came to the area to meet the needs of the less fortunate, and their mission hasn't changed.
When we're in a community, we try to find out what the community needs, what the people need. And then we try to meet those needs in the spirit of Christ. And so we're here in Worcester, we have several programs that address some of the needs that we find in Worcester.
The center offers services like a food pantry, a 12-week life skills program for at-risk youth, and worship services. Kevin McGuire is a director of Sally's Place, a drop-in center for the homeless. It provides them with a warm place to shower, food to eat, and even clothes to wear.
You know, people here come for a second chance. You know, and we try to help afford them that second chance, realizing that they are pretty much at a bankrupt point in their life.
Monday through Thursday, the center offers a free after-school program for 1st through 6th graders. Currently, the program offers 51 children with homework help, activities, and a warm meal every evening.
They can come in and they can focus on their schoolwork also, and while focusing on their schoolwork, they can help other kids. So they're here from 2 to 6 every day. And it's just important, you know, that they have that extra help every day, and also a meal. You know, not every child can get a cooked meal because the parents are at work.
Patricia Nicholas, Worcester News Tonight.
A talented group of singers at Worcester's Burncoat High School will play on a big stage this weekend. And it's not the first time the chorus has performed with a music legend. Our Tim McCone has a look at what promises to be a historic show.
The Burncoat High School Quadrivium Chorus is preparing to take the stage with country superstar Kenny Rogers. Around 10,000 people are expected at Mohegan Sun for the concert Saturday.
10,000 people, that's a lot of people.
To have the opportunity to perform in front of an audience that large is very rare for a high school group.
Saturday's performance will have added meaning as it's Rogers' final show ever in Southern New England.
It feels kind of awesome because it's like the legendary last performance, and Burncoat High School is going to be doing it.
It's like an honor to be part of his last show because he's been doing it for so many years. So to just be chosen to do it, it's great.
Burncoat has performed with Rogers 3 other times beginning back in 2009. For some, this will be their second time taking the stage with the music icon.
At first, you kind of like look and you're like, oh my, whoa, this is way too much for me to handle. And then after a while, you just kind of like, you forget about the crowd and you just kind of get into it and you just have a good time.
For others, it will be a chance to meet the legendary musician.
One of my favorite songs is by him, Christmas in Kentucky, so I'm excited to finally meet him.
To be honest, my grandmother's more excited than I am, so I gotta tell him about her first.
Whether they've experienced the bright lights yet or not, all of the chorus will be ready.
Whenever we get to these moments where we can give them the opportunity to shine, they really do. They always come through much higher level than I ever expect.
We got it. We got it.
Tim McCone, Worcester.